Hi, Tanya.
Hey, this is exciting.
This
I'm
is
so honored to
exciting.
be here.
Oh, me
Yes.
too. Me too. We've been hanging out for a little while, you and I,
Yep. Yep.
and
We,
we've both done pretty brave things over the last year for ourselves, for our clients, for our businesses.
yep.
And so as people are joining us, oh, Disa is here. Am I saying that right? Is it Disa or Desa? Let me know. But great to see you. So glad you're here. If you are joining us now, come say hi. Tell us what's happening in your day. Tell us what you want to know about procrastination. We're going to focus today on how we get to be high achievers and also procrastinators at the same time. And Tanya and I both have experience with that. But this is, hey, Erin, thanks for joining. This is a conversation and Desa. Okay, awesome. I think that was the second one. Hopefully I got that right. Look, my last name is Lefkowitz, so I live a life where everybody gets my name wrong. And we've got Stephen in Ireland. Ooh,
That's exciting.
right. You're not usually in Ireland, Stephen. I don't think. But we've got Lisa Ann. Hey, Tanya, long time. Looks like you're doing great things. New management rollover here in back-to-back meetings for the last 2 weeks. Oh boy. LOL, yes.
I love the comments. We could just read that. We could just talk to the comments today.
I know. Thank you for the support in me getting your name right. We've got Tim here saying hi to us and David saying hi to us. Tim saying hi to Erin. I mean, this is a whole room full of people now. That's amazing. Awesome. So ask us questions along the way. Tell us if what we're talking about is resonating with you, or you know, if you've got some other take on what we're talking about. But Tanya and I met through through LinkedIn, really, right? Through the coaching world and through Katie McManus. And I think I left my corporate job a little bit before you did. I left last July.
Yep.
Hey, Heather. I left last July. And when did you leave?
The end of February. So March 1st, I was officially a CEO with no backup. Yeah. No parachute, no landing mat, nothing.
Right.
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah.
So 6 months, almost 6 months. Yep.
Yeah. So I remember us having a conversation like pretty soon after I had left, and you were thinking about
ready
leaving.
to. Yep.
Ready to. Yeah. Yep. And so when I think about like my own relationship with procrastination, which is a big one, I love procrastination. I live in all the things I'll do later. But you know, when I think about the first time you and I talked, the things you were saying about like getting ready to get ready to leave, right? Was all the stuff we had just done the year before. And in fact, when I first started thinking about launching my own business instead of like side gigging and whatever coaching opportunities came up for me, and I first talked to our mutual business coach, Katie, I said, I think I want to be out on my own in 5 years.
Yeah.
This was January of 2021.
Yeah.
So
I can't imagine.
I want to be out in 5 years and like on my own, but you know, here are all the reasons why I can't do that. And which is why we need coaches, right? Because we need coaches to say like, okay, if that's what you decide, then you're correct. You can't do it for 5 years. But that was for me a procrastination tactic in sort of like knowing I could do something bigger and something that more aligned with who and how I wanted to be, but also like it would always be 5 years away. For me.
That's a great procrastination tactic. I like it.
It's a really high achieving procrastination tactic, right? And so when you think of like a procrastinator, you think of somebody who's not successful. Well, that's what I think of anyway. Like you think like that's the instant kind of thing. It's like, oh, if only you would get off your butt and do X, Y, and Z. But it's not about that, because there are things that we go after.
Yeah.
And then there are things that we're like, I'll do it in 5 years. And Tim's coming in with a little sarcasm. Can't procrastinate, but I do have a list of things to do in the future. Yes, future me is so successful.
Oh, I know, right? We get shit done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, then I talked to Katie, and I had this, like, by the end of our first call, I had this 1-year plan.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I actually started doing the work, it was a 6-month plan.
Yeah, no, that's why I think that's why you and I connect so well, is because same thing with, I started talking to Katie. I had a 1-year plan that soon became a 6-month plan. And then I remember calling her saying, that's it, I'm giving my notice tomorrow. Right. So, because I started talking to Katie in January, and my last day was the end of February. So yeah, 2 months. So that 1-year plan with a coach became a 2-year plan. And it's not always the case, but sometimes the case for me, the procrastinating is fear, right? There was a lot of fear for me to do the scary stuff around breaking off on my own and not having a steady paycheck and not having a 401k and not having health insurance and blah, blah, blah. And of course I had well-meaning family members, friends, neighbors who thought I was being really stupid by doing this at my age, right? And going into the uncomfortable zone, unknown zone versus being safe. So there's a lot of reasons that procrastination kicked in for me,
Yeah. And it's, I'm like, a year into my business, and I still have people who care about me.
Yeah.
Asking, like, do you know that you need to set up an LLC at some point? Yeah, I've already got that covered. I learned how to run the business while I was learning how to run the business. Right. And it all comes from care, because people are scared for you that you're not getting health insurance and steady income and all of that. Yeah. And when you're scared about it too, it's so easy to procrastinate and say, like, that is scary. I can't handle that right now. And those were all my excuses to when I, started thinking about my business. Well, I can't go without health insurance. Well, I don't have to. We have other opportunities for health insurance. I just have to factor that into my living expenses.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So we've got some comments coming in here.
I love
the jokes. I'm writing a book called 10 Tips to Stop Procrastinating. I'm going to start tomorrow.
Oh, I love the title.
I love it. And we've got Heather coming in. I discovered recently that my procrastination was rooted in a weird childhood behavior. I perform incredibly well under high pressure, so I kept creating a pressure cooker so I could subsequently perform high because of muscle memory. That sounds so familiar. Oh my gosh. If I don't have pressure on me, if I don't same thing, if I don't create a deadline and a reason why I want the deadline, then it's like always something I'll do someday. And Vanessa says she's in the same boat. row.
Yeah, I'm a breakout speaker at the end of September at the WISE conference in Texas. And about 2 months ago, I'm like, I've got to write the speech. I've got to write the speech. I've got to write the speech. Well, I have till September. I've got to write the speech. I've written it, but just most recently, because then finally it was like, okay, I got to get it written. So I have a month to practice. But it's that pressure. It's like knowing, that there's a deadline. If there's no deadline, that speech wouldn't get written for a long time. Yeah.
That goes in my someday I'm gonna bucket.
Right. Exactly. Right.
Yeah. I recently started writing a book, and which was something I wanted to do. And I always find that like my procrastination is like, I want to do something. Yeah. I'm planning to plan to do something, but like not yet. Yeah. And so I've been wanting to write this book about my experience. It's a memoir about my experience breaking my shoulders, chasing a robot vacuum, and how I got there and what's happened since. And I'm excited about it. And I've had the story sitting in my head for a couple of years. And it wasn't until I hired a publishing company to help me with the book. I hired an individual book coach to help me figure it out. And what I noticed was that I have this date in my head that I have to have pages to her by.
Mhm.
And I didn't want to do it because I was afraid I would forget pieces and not get it perfect. And so there's a perfectionist in me who's like, if
Yeah.
you're not going to do it all and you're not going to do it exactly right, you're not going to get it perfect, don't even start it.
Yeah.
And for me, that's like, I mean, that's what I see in my clients. And I imagine you see it in your clients too, is like, I can't set new boundaries at work. I can't look for a new job. I can't, because it's like, it's got to be perfect. I have to make all the time for it, or it's not worth starting if I'm not going to finish
Absolutely.
it.
So I know one of the comments said overthinking, right? So we overthink things, or we don't get things done because it's not quite right. It's not perfect. So we don't finish it.
Right.
So many reasons around procrastinating, and none of them are bad. I hope nobody feels bad. I mean, a lot of grace around it. We get shit done. Obviously, we're here.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's like I can't think of the right word for it, but it's like these opposing forces, right? Like I get out of bed every day. I'm wearing pants all the time, right? Like I'm going to be on a video call where I have to kill a spider on the wall. I'm going to have to stand up. I make sure to put on pants every day. Right. And I am a successful business owner. So are you, right? Like I left this job. I left all of this security behind me because I had enough confidence that I could make enough money to live until I could maybe make lots and lots of money.
Right.
And so I've taken these steps to get past some of the procrastination.
Yeah.
And then I sit in front of my book and I'm like, it's not ready. It's not good. It's not going to be done. It's not, why did I start this? Am I going to finish it? Right. And I put it off. And what was so funny yesterday, I was looking at my first chapters that I have to get to this book coach, and just, I don't know, coincidentally or the universe or whatever it was, I hopped onto Instagram and she had posted a video about writing a memoir, this book coach, about writing a memoir and about everybody's fear that they're going to miss stuff or get facts wrong or not have the same memory as another person who was in the situation with you. And she was like, just write it, and then put it down and you'll come back to it. It's a draft and your memory is your memory. It's your emotional memory and just do it. And I was like, well, she's literally telling me to just send it to her as it is. So I did.
I tell you, I don't know if I want to thank Nike for their slogan. Just do it. Right? It's like, I'm not a Nike commercial.
Yeah, exactly. Heather says pants are overrated. I agree. I am part of the soft pants nation for the rest of my life. I will only wear hard pants for very specific occasions. They are not for me anymore. That's just not the world I live in anymore.
Yep.
And that's why I run my own business, because now I have the choice to wear soft pants all the time. That was like the baseline reason for that.
Yeah. And I love the story because I remember when I first started working for this internal coaching company, I worked with them for 7 years. I remember the first year by accident, they have a dress code, right? So hard pants, collared shirt, all that kind of stuff. And I was walking my dog and I was running late. He was taking longer than normal. And I always just have yucky old flip-flop dog walking shoes, right? Mm-hmm. I forgot to change them. And so I went to work in flip-flops. Not intentional. I wasn't like, it was totally by accident, but just think about it. Come on, Charlie, pee, let's go. I got to get to work. Right. I run in the house, grab my purse, drive to work, obviously pre-COVID. And then I get sent to HR and get written up for wearing flip-flops to work versus, hey, what happened this morning? And what I'm learning from this is I need a pair of nice shoes under my desk in case this happens again. But yeah, I think I've been written up twice, and both times with this one corporation, and one time was for flip-flops.
Oh man, that's tough HR.
That's tough HR. Well, somebody turned me in, right? Because I remember saying, okay, I guess I better not pee today. I better keep my feet under my desk. Right. But from the front door to my desk, somebody saw flip-flops. It's like, I want out.
Have you ever worn 2 different shoes to work?
No, I have not done that. I'm thinking you have.
I worked at a place where I was allowed to wear flip-flop. Well, I wasn't technically. I made it so I was allowed to wear flip-flops because the dress code was no dress code.
Uh-huh.
And I was HR. So I was like, cool. So I wore flip-flops to work a bunch. And then I got like spoken to that, well, it's not technically a rule. It would look more professional if I weren't wearing flip-flops. And I was like, okay, I'm going to just keep wearing flip-flops. And one day I came in with one brown flip-flop with like a rainbow stripe topper thing that where your toe goes and a black flip-flop. Like they were very different.
Yep.
They weren't even the same height. Like one was kind of thick and one was super thin. I don't know. It happens, right? And I could see it happening like if you have the same, and we're cut from the same cloth, you and I also like had the same pair of shoes in black and brown, and I would wear like one of one color, one of the other. But to wear two shoes that are so different, like I didn't even notice. I don't know. That's part of procrastinating my mornings, getting my mornings started too slowly.
That's right.
Yeah.
Me walking my dog and procrastinating. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So Lisa says I have one black and one navy, same shoe, different colors back in the day. Yeah. When I in my early career, I had to wear, I know we're like way off topic, but in my early career, I had to wear like suits and pantyhose, and skirts couldn't be more than 2 inches above any very, very formal environment. And so if I found a pair of shoes that were comfortable, of heels that were comfortable, I bought it in like 3 colors because why not? So it's like a really easy mistake to make. You're all normal. Thanks for kicking in and telling me I'm normal too.
Well, so now I'm super curious. Can you still buy pantyhose? Do they still sell them?
I imagine so.
Wow.
I don't ever want to wear them again, but I imagine so. I don't even wear skirts anymore. I'm like an all pants all the time. Yep. Give me a comfy waistband kind of girl.
Yeah. So I had an interesting conversation on procrastinating. I'll bring us back in a little bit. So I have a 26-year-old daughter who is there's different levels of procrastinating. So my 24-year-old really doesn't procrastinate. She has a planner. She color codes her planner. She's so organized. So procrastinating wouldn't be her middle name. But when my 26-year-old daughter, absolutely. If she's listening, she's not going to get mad at me about this, right? So she was upset the other day about something that she kept putting off to the last minute. And I'm like, hey, you got to give yourself grace, kid, And I said, go back to when you were in high school. And I said, do you remember you would study 5 minutes before a test? Mm-hmm. You knew for weeks you'd have a test, but you wouldn't study till the day of. I mean, she's the queen of procrastinating. Or a project would be due on, say, Friday. I kid you not, Lauren, Thursday at 2 a.m, or Friday 2 a.m, I could hear her upstairs putting her project together. Mm-hmm. The kid got straight A's. She got a full ride, to a university. I mean, she's brilliant.
Yeah.
But if you want to put on a scale, because procrastinating, there's a scale, right? She's over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
gets it done.
That's such a great testament to how you can be a successful person and be a procrastinator. And for some things that works. Like if I'm going live, I don't need any preparation. And it's totally a mindset thing, right? Like I can go live, I can pre-write the description, I can post it 24 hours in advance and invite a bunch of people, or I can just decide, hey, I'm going to go live in 5 minutes. And none of that makes me worry. I don't procrastinate about it. But, and while I'm a certified trainer, when I think about doing a webinar, I'm like, I don't want to, I'll do it another time. And it's not even that different. And it's not because I'm scared to present or train. I have this, nobody's going to come to my party fear, which never happens. People always come. But, so like if I'm in an open room that's live, then whoever comes and pops in, cool. If I'm making them register for it and show up, like this procrastination fear just like rides in and I'm like, oh, I'll start doing webinars next month. Oh, I'll do them again next month. So how do you cope with that? How do you reconcile for yourself being like a high achieving, successful woman who's gone your whole career? And I don't know if people know about your whole career, but who's gone your whole career just achieving and doing and like getting stuff done and being successful and also procrastinating?
Yeah. Well, it's how I'm wired, right? So some of it's just being, again, that word grace and accepting it. Like some people are good starters. Like I call it, I have a weak start button. Some people have a really strong start button, but they have a weak finish button, like my ex. Not why we're exes, but he would start 12 things and all 12 projects in the house never would get finished. So some people are not really great at finishing, but maybe they're great at starting. So part of it is just being a first, or maybe the first is being aware of it's how I'm wired, right? I'm wired. I don't have a strong start button. So there's a lot of grace in there. And some of it's having a coach, like we said, right? So great accountability, having a coach. And I truly do believe, and it's not because I am a coach, is all humans are better with coaches if they have a good coach.
Yeah.
Some of it's other kind of accountability. I put things on an alarm, so my phone will say, okay, have you started, Tanya? And I will. I'll have an alarm that says start. Or I have a neighbor and we walk. And now if she waited for me to knock on her door, she knows that's probably not going to be the most effective way to get this walk done. She comes to my front door and knocks on my door. I'm like, oh crap, here she is. Put on my shoes and off I go. So it's just setting up my environment with some help with the start button. Because I know I'm not great at it. And once I start something, I'm really good at finishing it. It's, so I'm a good finisher, maybe not the best starter. So what can I do to set myself up for, success around starting? And then of course it's not perfect.
Right.
Not.
Yeah.
And we all know the words about failing and all of that. So that happens too.
Yeah. I know the words are easy. Implementing them is not quite as easy.
Well, it's like, I put on way too much weight over COVID. I'm not one of those people that dug into exercising and all that through COVID. I learned how to bake sourdough bread and loved it, through COVID. That's me. So I'm back on a healthy food plan. I have a nutrition coach. However, getting started with that, come on, you all know this one. I'll do it Monday. Okay, I'll start on Monday, right? I'm really good at that. I'll do it on Monday or I'll start on Sunday. But now that I'm in and I'm doing it, it's working. So I know that I'm good at finishing. So I don't know, I'm probably rambling, Lauren. It's being self-aware and not really kicking yourself in the ass over it. Just like, what can we do to make it better?
Yeah, no, I don't think you're rambling at all. I think, I love that distinction between starting and finishing.
Yeah.
I have a tough time starting, but once I'm in, I'm like all the way in.
Right. So great. Own that you're a great finisher.
Right. And I know a lot of people who start something big and I'm like, wow, like that's amazing. You just like dug right in. And then they drop off in the middle and they have a whole bunch of finished projects. So I love that distinction. For me, when I decided to leave corporate America and go full-time with my business and like really make a thing of it, I decided I also wanted my life to be really fun. And so what I do is I stop and really think about like, why isn't this fun? Why am I stressing over this? What are the fear points? I work on that with my coach. And with myself where, I really sit down and mull over like what part of this doesn't feel like it's going to be fun. Right. And what part of this is like, if I don't do it, what are the consequences? Right. Like if I never write a book or I never, launch another group program or, what are the consequences for me? Am I going to feel like I'm missing out on it? Because I don't want to just coast through and miss out on stuff and wish I had done some things. And I don't want to sit in fear of the stuff that I really do want to do. There's like some stuff I'm afraid of that I'm also not interested in, like not super interested in mountain climbing or cliff diving or, basically anything athletic. So it doesn't, make me upset that like I'm afraid of those things because I'm also like not super interested in them. If I want to be at the top of a mountain, I will pay for a helicopter someday or something, right? But the things that I want to do that I'm not doing, those are like the procrastination points for me. And I see this a lot with clients, and I bet you do too, that like all of my clients start out telling me all the things they can't do and they can't change. Right. Because it's because of fear. And then when we start and we take like little bites and little steps, then they get like really excited about what else they can change. So I always say, like, you're not alone. Like, if you're procrastinating something, don't be afraid to tell someone, whether you're working with a coach or whether you just have like a buddy, or a colleague that you trust. Like, there's always an opportunity to tell someone, I want to do this and I'm scared to do it. Can you help me sort through it? And still be a successful, high achieving person and still get to be like choosing what you do.
Yeah. And it's okay. I totally believe in transparency and authenticity. One of my highest values being authentic. I'm not perfect. I have a coach, right? You have a coach. We aren't perfect. We are successful because we know that, and we get the help where it's necessary. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that's like the conundrum in people's heads is like, I am high achieving and I am smart and I am successful. It's a failure if I get a coach.
Yeah.
And the truth is, like, we're not meant to know everything.
No.
Right. And we can't see ourselves objectively. We're always going to be judging ourselves more than we're going to be recognizing what's amazing about us. Yeah. And so a coach really helps you find that balance and figure out like how you want things to go and help you figure out those steps.
Sure.
So it's like the high achieving argument we have in ourselves. In fact, I didn't have a coach for a long time and I was coaching people. Yep. And then I was talking to someone about going full-time with coaching and realized during that conversation that I wasn't going to be able to do this, like even decide to become full-time in my own business unless I had some help figuring out the steps in between. Sure. And I hate being a beginner. And I had to convince myself that it was okay to be a beginner again.
Well, I truly believe, Lauren, knowing you, that you would have succeeded with your 5-year plan if you didn't have a coach, right? And you would have done your 5-year plan, but with a coach, it was a 1-year plan or sooner. Same thing with me, right? We're both high achieving. I've done a lot of things in my life. I believe in myself, and I still have those voices, right? Yeah. And some of them are external, which, thank you very much, feed my internal ones. It's like, see, Tanya, it's not wise to quit your job.
Yeah. So, thanks for your confidence in me.
But we got some support so we could, be more effective and more efficient, and we did it sooner.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. It's true.
Yeah.
We've got a couple more comments coming in. One throwback to the shoe conversation about she wears combat boots now and loves uniform and not having to think about what to wear. Yeah, my uniform, soft pants. And then we've got Heather, good question about, this was when we were talking about how we procrastinate and how we get over it. Something I do is place valuation on the item, what moves the dial versus what is just something to do. For me, knowing what my valuation is the first step. Then I can bucket from there and prioritize and not go into process. This was a little bit longer. It just didn't fit into the box. Then I can prioritize and not go into procrastination and overwhelm. And then Erin added, enlightening. I think I'm a strong starter, need to work on the finishing. Yeah, I think we all lean one way or the other.
Yep. Yeah.
And then Catherine says, if I'm successful alone, how much further might I go with a partner? Yeah. And I think as achievers, part of what we unlearn as we grow up and as we grow in our careers is that when we become the person that people come to for help, we think there's nobody for us to go to for help because we get counted on for all kinds of things. And that was my experience anyway, was like, I was the vice president of whatever you need at my last company. And I didn't know where to go if I needed help and advice. So I just thought I was meant to figure it all out on my own. Yeah. And I know now it's so.
Yeah, I totally want to agree with you. I know back when I was coaching for this last company, I had 91 clients. And it was, so when COVID first hit and we had stay-at-home orders and, it was, and I remember getting on the phone with all 91 people in 2 weeks. So it was, whatever,
gosh.
45, 46 clients each week, saying, be a lighthouse for your clients, be a lighthouse for your direct reports. Being if they were a business owner or if they were an executive, how can you be a lighthouse and get people through this, right? How do you see that this too shall pass? Took a lot longer than we thought, but right. But this too shall pass. And so I was telling people, call after call, how can you be a lighthouse? How can we help them? And what I forgot is I needed one.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hence weight loss, all that kind of stuff. I mean, weight gain, not weight loss through COVID, right? I was serving so many people and forgot to serve myself, and that asked for help, have a coach through. I didn't have a coach through COVID. Mm-hmm. So yeah, totally. I could see where it would have been totally different if I had.
Yeah. But whenever you choose to do it is the right time.
Yep.
Because
absolutely.
you have to be ready to make whatever changes. You don't have to know how. And that's, I feel like, the thing I didn't know was like, in my mind, if I was going to hire a coach, I should know what my path was. I should know exactly what I wanted. And I didn't. I just knew what I didn't like anymore.
Right.
And, I had this like vague sense of some future. And that's a good place to start, to just know that like the comfort zone you built for yourself and the familiar life you've built for yourself doesn't work for you anymore. That's all you need to know.
Yep.
And then the rest you can sort out.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Oh gosh. I know you're extremely happy where you're at today. And, 6 months later for me, it took me like 3 months, 2.5, 3 months to feel normal again after all that talk stuff. I couldn't be happier. Doesn't mean it's not scary. It doesn't mean growing a business, obviously has its bumps and bruises, but I wouldn't go back and change it for a minute.
Amazing.
So forever long it took me to do.
Yeah. And now it's just like fun from here on out. I mean, it's scary. Sure. We're doing all kinds of scary things, but
hey, we're on live stream on LinkedIn.
I know. Look at us go. Amazing.
I would not have done this 6 months away and go, no way would I have said I would have been live with Lauren. No way.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, it takes a little while to get comfortable in this format. But we do the work and we make it fun, and then you get comfortable, and then you find a new way to make yourself uncomfortable so you can keep growing. And
I know. It's like, okay, what's next?
Yeah. Welcome to being normal. Cool. Any final thoughts as we're getting ready to close?
For me, or are we asking for comments?
For you.
For me.
What are your final thoughts on the things we don't get done, the things we want to get done, and the things we get done?
Just my final thought is, hey, be aware of, hey, my start button's not as strong as some, or hey, my finish button isn't as strong as some, and give yourself grace. It's how we're wired. I have gray hair. Somebody has purple hair, right? It's how we are. Be you, and then get some support, some accountability around, and some growth around, the start or the finish or whatever. But it's okay. It's not bad. I hope everybody walks away with saying, I'm normal. It's not bad. I'm not weird or not capable. Any of those negative words. No, out. Right. Toss them away.
Yeah. And you're normal. Like, I think we all think we have the big secret that we're the successful person who procrastinates. And it's not true. It's, we're all in this together. We're all a little bit weird. We all have our own delays in doing things. So tell people where they can find you, and I'll tell people where they can find me and about my program, and then we'll go out from there.
Cool. Well, I am on LinkedIn, Tanya Bugbee. Easy to find me on LinkedIn. Easy to find me on Facebook. Not so much on Instagram, but LinkedIn and Facebook for sure. And if you have any questions, DM me.
Cool. And you can find me here on LinkedIn. You've already found me if you're watching this. Great job. I also run a Procrastinators Power Hour, which is a twice a week co-working group for accountability, community, and focus. And there's a monthly membership, or you can drop in. I will drop links in the comments after our live today. And it's a way for you to get some work done that you've been procrastinating. We start with intention setting, then we all work quietly together on Zoom, and then we come back and celebrate what we've accomplished. And it's an awesome place to be. Yeah, so thank you, Tanya, for being here with me. And you and I will talk soon. I know it.
Yeah, I know. Thank you. My pleasure. And thank you, everybody, for your comments and being here. Very cool.
Thanks,
Make it way more fun, too.